Welcome, my name's Jessica from Jessica's Craft Time, and today we're going to do some of our paper craft. This is what we're creating. The top of the flower is actually 3D and just a little wish you a happy birthday card. So let's get started. Might actually bring you up just a little bit. Might be able to see just a fraction better. And we'll pop that there so we remember what we're doing. So I hope everyone is well. First, I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm going to cut it at 14.9. I'm going to use the second half for all our stamping and things like that. And this one, I'm going to flip it around and score it at 10.5. Now what you can do with your, actually like to use the bottom of this one. Let's see if I can get it in the shop. You can line the corners right up in the corner here. Grab your bone folder, which I have here somewhere. And you have your card base. Might as well cut out a few other things while we're here. I'm not going to cut out the stamped bit yet. I'll stamp it first and then I'll cut it, but we can cut our green background. So for this, I'm going to cut at 10. So this is old Olive Cardstock, and we're going to cut at 14.4 this way. Then we're going to use our DSP or Designer Series paper. Now this one we're going to cut, that's not a full sheet. So we need to cut at, okay, I'll go this way here. So I'm just trying to work out which way this isn't a full sheet. So 13.9. So this is Flowers for Every Season cardstock, and the reverse of this card is the pink flowers, the paper. And I want 9.5 the other way. So I think that's all the trimming that we have to do at the moment. We might as well get on with some of our stamping. Now I'm going to use our Stamparatus. We haven't used this one for a while. Just take that off. Sorry, take that off and put it on this way. Let me just see roughly where it stamps. It should be there. Yeah. So I can roughly see here, it's pretty messy, but you can roughly see where it stamps. And I'm just going to put this piece of paper just over it. Now my magnets I've got covered in duct tape because they're really strong. As you can see, it picked up the other one. Just makes it a bit easier to pick up, and it also protects them if they happen to smash together and shatter. I'm not going to get bits of magnet everywhere. I think I actually want that a little bit higher. I can always trim it down. So the beauty with the Stamparatus is you can stamp the same image over and over again as long as you line your paper up. So what you can do is line your paper up into the corner. I've used the magnetic magnets to keep mine in place, and I'm just using the black Memento ink today. I'm just going to run that all over my stamp and press down. See how it didn't work up there very well? You can just go back and repress. What is great about the Stamparatus too is that we have multiple plates. Now you can't shut both plates at once, but I can put that plate up the top. And what I want to do before I put the second plate on is I want to actually cut out this flower bit. So I'm going to flip my paper around, and from memory, yeah, my paper's moved a little bit. it's stamping just here. So then I can put my paper on again, and I only want to stamp the top part of the flower because that's the only bit that we're going to die cut out. So I should probably, yeah, just going to go in a little bit more. Should probably let you know what stamps we're using. So the stamps that we're using today is called Band Together, and I'm pairing it with the Detailed Bands die set. So I've done those two. Now on my other plate I have my sentiment and my leaf. Just going to move my card in case that's got ink on it still. So my leaf I want to put up here so that I can die cut it out. I always try to stick as much to the corners or the edges of the paper so you get as much use out of each sheet of paper as possible. And then we just take it off. You've got to be upright, flip it around, and I think what I actually did with my paper as well is I flipped it around and stamped around about the middle here. If I was smart, I would have actually set up all my stamps so I didn't have to keep flipping my paper, but I did them at different stages because I'm like, oh, I want that and I want that. So that's it. That's our Stamparatus used. That's all our stamping done. So you can only use, you can't shut both plates on it. You do need to take this off. But there's your Stamparatus. I'm just going to put that down to the side, out of the way. So we've got all our stamping done. Next thing is just to do the colouring. So I'm using the Old Olive in the light. And I'm going to use that for the leaves. So this might be a little bit of a boring part, but we just need to colour everything in. So this bit's going to be our card front. I'm not a perfect colorer. It's not one of my favourite things to do, but we get there. I don't always keep in line. Now for the centre of our flower, this is a retired marker, but it's the Apricot Appeal, was the closest that I had to a yellow. I tried a different one in the last set, but I didn't like it. You can also use just your stamp pads as well. And then I'm going to colour the flowers in with light Poppy Parade. So I'm going to start with the light and just work over the whole flower. Then we'll give it a little bit of shading with the dark Poppy Parade blender pen. So yeah, I'm by no means a colorer. I'm not very good at keeping things in the line. I tend to rush a bit, but I think the end product turns out okay. So, and like I always say, handmade should never be perfect. If you want perfect, go and buy it from a shop. Handmade should always have imperfections in it. That's what makes it handmade. So I just coloured it in like that. And then I took the dark blend Stampin' Blends and I just went over all these little bits on the flower. And then I found some of the petals that were in the background and just coloured them in. that. Then we do the same with these ones here. I just start with the light, because you can always add more colour. You can't take colour away. I should actually have something underneath, because these will sometimes bleed through your cardstock if you go too heavy on them. So make sure you protect your surface underneath. The blends come in sets now, so you buy them as a combo with both the light and dark. And like all our colours in Stampin' Up, they have like full ranges, so you can get the paper, you can get the ink, you can get embellishments to match the colours, you can get the cardstock, which is what I really love. If you really love a colour, you can get all the bits in that colour. So you've got all the same colours. So it's the same as we use the old olive on the stems, and we're using the old olive in the paper. The only difference is the old olive in the blend that I'm using is the light colour, so the cardstock is more of the dark. Okay, so we'll just do this flower here. And yeah, just, you know, make it your own, do what you like. You could do the leaves, or the petals should I say, in different colours. This back one's not going to matter so much, because most of it will be covered up with the top flower. Alright, so now we need to trim this down. So this one's going down to 8.5 by 12.9. So I'm going to find my 8.5 first. And I've done it right there. I've kept the flower far enough over. Then I'm going to just trim a little bit off the top here. I've got a little mark helper here. You're not a helper? We're going to do 12.9. Yes, you can do it in a second. Okay, this blade. Thank you. And that's our card base with the flower. Oops, I didn't do the, yeah, you can take that. I didn't do the dark in this one here. This one I got this piece. Yeah, if you want to. Just take it away from here. Just don't cut your fingers. Okay. Right. Now we need to do the die cutting. So I'll move that to the side. I might have to zoom you out a little bit because you're going to be right up in this. So come out a little bit. See all my mess and all my notes everywhere. Alright, drop the sides down. Grab your die cutting plates. Now I like using the magnetic plate because I find it's easier to, it holds the dies in place a little bit better. Pop our sheet down. So we're going to go oval around this one here. We're going to do line up the flower on this one the best you can, and the leaves. Oh, I almost put that on there perfect. Now I always find when I drop the plate, I tend to, my plate's dirty, I tend to move them a little bit. Okay. It's not live. It's not live. I'm recording a video. But I'm sure they like the machine as much. Mark loves his machine. We had to cut out dinosaurs before. I've just got to go slow or else it actually makes a fair bit of noise. And I love how it just closes up and moves out of the way. So let's get these off. Pop the plates away. The only other thing that we need, that's enough now, Mark. The only other thing that we need, which I already cut out before, was I used the old olive. I'll just bring you back down here a little bit closer. There you go. And I used this one to cut it out of the old olive paper. Don't be stamping on things, mate. No, please don't. So now we just need to put it together. I did go and grab some ribbon I had. It was just some random ribbon I had.
Random. Of course it's random.
Why is it? Of course it's random. And I'm just going to wrap it round. I'm going to use my tear and tape. Yeah, you can take them. He's grabbing all the extra DSP and taking them over to the cutter. Yeah, grab whatever ribbon you have, whatever embellishments you have. I don't even know what this ribbon is. I think it's an old retired Stampin' Up ribbon, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to put that there. Wrap it around the front. And I just use the tear and tape because that will hold it in place a little bit better. And I did the same. I just used some tear and tape on the back of the sentiment to stick the sentiment down. I love tear and tape. It goes such a long way, and it's got a really nice hold to it as well.
What's tear and tape?
It's like double-sided tape.
This one?
Yeah. Don't take it. Pop your sentiment in the middle there, and then we just need to stick it all together. So I've got my Tombow. Mark, I need that back, please.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do, because I need it to stick on. Bring it back, please. Alright. So we're just going to layer. So we've got the old olive cardstock that was cut at 10 centimeters by 14.4. Then we've got our DSP that's cut at 13.9 by 9.5. Please stop. And then we've got our pretty flowers, which we cut at 12.9 by 8.5. So these ones, the first layer I only took 0.5 centimeter off, but the second and third layer I took a full centimeter off because I wanted to show just a little bit more around the edge.
Pieces.
With our flower, we're just going to grab our dimensionals. I'm going to pop 4 on there.
Where?
Hate taking these off. Alright, so we'll pop this on here. Now with the sentiment, I put it down the bottom last time. And I had the leaves coming out the side. Or do we want them there? No, I think we still want them there. So I'm just going to grab my tear and tape again and just pop a little bit of tear and tape on my leaves to hold it onto the, because I want it the same height as the sentiment. Pop that there, and then grab some dimensionals. You want to make sure you put enough dimensionals on there that it's going to support it. It's quite a large piece, and I want a little bit there, so what I'm going to actually do is just cut off. I'll do it on this side, it might be easy to get off. Just a small slither from around the edge to put in there. Take all those pieces off. The downside of using multiple dimensionals is it takes a little bit of time just to peel them off, and you get little bits of, what are they, hexagons all over the place. They don't sweep up easily either. And just decide not to stick it to your finger where you want it. I don't want it right in the corner, but about there will do. My leaves probably could have been a little bit lower. One final touch, wink of Stella, just over the flowers, and that's going to give each of the flowers a little bit of glittery, sparkly goodness, just to make them stand out and make them a little bit more special. And there is our card. So you can see that one's a little bit higher, but I don't mind it popping over the flower. And there's our card today. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. I enjoyed making the card, and I'll see you all next week with another card or another form of paper craft. Have a great week. Bye.